Hey everybody, how's it all going today? I hope you're all having a good day. Looks like curfew is about over in New York City. So there's a few things that I wanted to discuss. By the way, can you guys all tell me what you think of the audio here? I had really terrible windy audio last time. And because I was using the standard windscreen that comes with a DPA 4066 mic. Then I tried using this iZotope RX wind removal, and it just made everything sound crappy. RX7 is pretty good stuff. It's really good for, let's say, removing hiss in the background, hum. When I do right to repair hearings and there's hiss in them because the mixer they're using is, hasn't been serviced since 1942. It's good for that stuff, but it wasn't made for like you're going 30 miles an hour and you have a shitty windscreen. So I tried a bunch of different windscreen combinations for this mic, and the best thing that I found was actually over the normal windscreen. I took a little piece of packing foam out of a FedEx laptop box, and I used a twist tie to secure it to the end of the microphone, and it seems to be working pretty well. Some people have asked, why am I screaming in these videos? And I'm not really screaming, I'm just talking at a volume where I can hear myself because the wind is so effing loud. So today I wanted to discuss why it is I think this whole concept of everything returning to normal once lockdowns are finished is, in my opinion, short-sighted and a bit of a fantasy land. So let's say that you have a company and your employees have been saying, listen, some of us would like to work from home. And then the boss says no. I understand why the boss says no. And this is a very unpopular opinion if you do any reading on Reddit, but I have had people who can work from home who do an absolutely amazing bang-up job. They probably do the job better than they do when they're at the store. But then there are people where, like, you'll log in and you'll see they just didn't respond to any of the tickets. You'll see that they just, and like you can't tell why they're not doing it. Or they're supposed to fix boards and you give them some stuff to work on at home and they get none of it done. And the thing about work management is, if someone's just not doing their job and you can see them, you can physically see them, you can get an idea what's going on. Is this a mood problem? Are they getting distracted? Are they spending too much time on pedantic parts of the job? Are they trying to get this little solder joint perfect to the point where they're, going over it 9 times when they don't have to? You can see. Or are they clueless? Do they not know how to do the job? Like, you can get a good idea of why it is they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I've hired people to answer my fresh desk tickets and incoming stuff, and I've had the case where, like, they answer 2 or 3 tickets in an hour, and it's like, it doesn't take 20 minutes to respond to a customer email with 1 sentence. It really doesn't. And you can see what it is that's confusing them. Whereas remotely, it's really difficult to see that. And yes, this is the fault of the business. You should come up with a system to manage people remotely. You need to come up with a system to figure out why it is someone's not doing whatever they're supposed to do remotely. But most people, they don't want to do that. They want to focus that time on building their business. They want to focus that time on, making more money, making stuff more efficient. They're not really interested in figuring out how to get people to do the same work they're doing right now from home with a system in place where they can assess why people are not doing their job if they're not doing their job. However, when there is a mandatory government shutdown of your business, you're now forced to come up with that because you're like, one way or the other, you're on the hook. If you lay the people off or if you lay them off, you're on the hook for unemployment for the first few weeks, which is most of their salary anyway. If you don't, they can just take sick days, in which case you're paying them, or you can just pay them. Like, one way or the other, you're paying for people. So you might as well find something for them to do. So now you're forced to come up with a way to manage people remotely. And once you're forced to come up with a way to manage people remotely, the question must be asked. If we're paying $80,000 a month for real estate, but, okay, how many people were able to work from home? Oh, okay, these people could. Okay, so we could pay $30,000 a month for office space and still get the same amount of work done. The question must be asked, why am I spending an additional $50,000 a month for office space? If you're able to get that work done, then you're not going to want to pay as much money for the office space, meaning there's going to be less people in New York City because people in New York City that realize, wait, I can work from home? Okay, so why am I spending $3,000 to $4,000 in a dump when I could spend $1,000 to $2,000 somewhere Midwest to the South and I could have a mansion? They're gonna leave. Same thing for, let's say, things like haircuts. I've been putting this off for 15 years. I remember saying after 4 years of going to the barber myself. I think I was 13 years old when I stopped having my mom take me to the barber, and I decided, I'm just going to find a place on my own and go. I'm going to figure out how to cut my own hair. All he's doing is using a buzzer. It's not like I'm a fucking male model anyway. I don't need that extra, that extra perfect haircut. It's not like it's going to make me look any better. So I want to figure out how to do this on my own. I don't really like getting a haircut. What I don't like about getting a haircut is when they use the buzzer and everything, you get no matter how much they cover things up or put the tarp over you, little hairs getting around your neck and around your ear and everywhere and your shoulder, and it's itchy. It's really annoyingly itchy. I want the ability to jump in the shower right afterwards. So I used to, after getting a haircut, I'd go back to work and I'd try to clean myself off in the bathroom. I just want to be able to jump in the shower. I also don't like waiting in line. Because I had the ability to procrastinate this for 15 years, from the age of 17 to 32. I kept procrastinating getting that little buzzer kit and figuring out if I could get myself a haircut. I always said, I got to research which one to buy. After I do that, I got to figure out how to cut my own hair, and then I have to, then there's the risk if I screw it up and I look like a total idiot. But since everything was closed and I looked like a total idiot anyway, once I had the bird's nest of hair after a month or two of no haircut, at that point, Erica and I looked it up and figured out how to do it, and she cut my hair and it went great. And then today I cut my hair again, and again, I'm not going to say it's even 95% of what I would have got if I went to a professional, but now I have no idea what that is. But now that I know I can do it, there's absolutely no way in hell I'm going to pay over $30 for a haircut. Because a haircut used to be $12, then it was $15, then it was $18, then it was $23, then it was $24, then it was $26, and then when you add the tip in, you're getting to $30 for a haircut. And something had to break the inertia, and I was too lazy on my own to put in the time to do that, because I was always getting home from work at 1 in the morning, at 2 in the morning, figuring out how to slightly cheaper cut my hair when there's a chance I could screw it up is really something that I could do later. But now that I was forced to do it because the haircut places were deemed non-essential by Il Dulce Cuomo, I don't really have any reason anymore to pay for a haircut. I am never going to pay for a haircut again for the rest of my life. I have my buzzer kit. That thing's probably, you use it maybe, once every 2 weeks to a month. It's not like something that easily breaks. I'm going to be using that thing for the rest of my life. There's no way in hell I'm ever going to wait in line for 30 to 40 minutes or deal with having to set appointments to cut my hair and then be itchy at work all day. It's just screw all that. It's never going to happen. I can do this right before I step in the shower in the morning. I can be done in a few minutes, and I'm good to go. Now, I'm sure that I'm not the only person that's been in the same situation. So when everything opens back up, it doesn't matter that you were allowed to open back up. You've broken the inertia there, and once you break the inertia, there's a good chance that you never get that business back. And I've talked about this concept of breaking the inertia in some older videos that I did. But Microsoft has done this several times. With Windows, when they released Windows Vista, that was such a steaming clusterfuck. I remember having people bring me Vista computers that they had just turned on, the shrink wrap and all that shit was still on over everything. And you weren't able to use Internet Explorer. You click Internet Explorer, and 15 minutes later it opens, and the hard drive was fine. There's no bad sectors or anything. It just all these ridiculous bugs in the very, very first editions of Windows Vista. Once those people switch over to Apple, they're never going back. They're not going to go back to Windows until Apple screws them. And granted, Apple's been screwing people for a while now, but you get the point. Same thing is true for restaurants. So in New York City, it's not that people are never going to go to restaurants again. Absolutely, people will go to restaurants again once they reopen. People will. However, if you go to certain blocks, you'll notice that we have upwards of 10 or 13 restaurants on one block. And I feel sick saying that that's the E word, because that's been made, the E word has kind of become a dirty word amongst dictatorial governors that want to choose who is and is not allowed to make a living in a world where we're still expected to pay all of our rents, bills, and employees, but we're not allowed to have business. But you realize that really is not essential. You don't need 13 restaurants in a block. People can live without that. There's so many businesses that exist right now where there's simply just too many of them. In that same field, there are certain fields that have been just over, those specific fields that have been overpopulated. There's lots of problems that need solving in the world, and there's lots of businesses that are, ripe for someone to start. Do we need 13 restaurants on one city block? Do we need, and here's the thing, it doesn't matter. Even if 90% of the people go back to getting haircuts the way they used to, if only 10% of them are like me and have been putting off getting a haircut on their own for these last few years, it only takes a 10% loss in business to seriously fuck with cities like New York City. Because if you're in the South, if you're in the Midwest, if you're in flyover country where you can actually have a nice store for $500 or $1,500 a month, you probably don't care if you lose 10% of business. But if you live in this clusterfuck of a city, where you're paying $12,000 for a store, $28,000 for a store, $60,000 a month for a retail store, that business, that retail space is valued based on the concept that you have an insane amount of business. And if that goes down even 10%, you're screwed. You cannot afford your business to go down, even in the tiniest bit. This has happened in the landlord video where people said, Louis, you're not paying for the space's ability to make money, you're just paying for the property. You're paying for the property. Like, no, you're not. You're paying for that property because that property has the potential to make you fucking money. I would not be paying $12,500 a month for my store if I did not have FIT next door, if I did not have all these universities nearby, and if I didn't have all these Midtown Manhattan companies with people that make high salaries that use Macs that could become my customers in a very high density. But landlords can lie to themselves all they want. They can tell themselves that what you're paying for is the property, but that's bullshit. You're paying for the property's the potential to make money. Like, if you're paying $1,500 a month to rent a store, fine, you're paying for the property. But when you got these stores that are paying $30,000 a month for less than 1,000 square feet to be in a certain area, you're not paying for the fucking property. You're paying for that property because it has the ability to make you money. Good job on that dude for staring down while he almost banged into my bike, but that's just the reality of New York City. They can't afford that. So if that business has a 10% loss in business, they're fucked because their rent is insane. They're insane. Their employee expenses are insane. Their taxes are insane. And when your expenses are insane, that is only compensated for because you have such an increase in business over every other area of the country. And when that goes down even a tiny bit, that's going to affect things a lot here. So in that business that it was paying $80,000 a month for real estate, even if only 30% of their staff can work from home, only 30% can work from home, what's the point of them paying $80,000 a month for their real estate? Maybe they can downsize and pay $40,000 to $56,000 a month for their real estate. Someone's brakes do not sound good. Hopefully they're not mine. And when that happens, that's gonna cause the real estate market to go down, at least commercially. And when that happens, it's also gonna cause the residential real estate market in this area to go down because people who can work from home have no reason to work in New York City. If you can work from home, why would you pay $3,000, $4,000, $8,000, $10,000 a month for an apartment that's not really that great? Why wouldn't you pay to be in an area where the buildings look nice, where the neighborhood looks nice, where there's actual lawns and backyards and trees and buildings that aren't in total disrepair from 100 years ago, where everything doesn't look like it was just slapstick put together like shit by Eugene. Now, I'm kind of curious what that's going to do to suburban home prices. If anything, Steve and I have been arguing about this. He thinks that home prices are going to go down in suburbia. I think, and I hope I'm wrong, I really honestly hope I'm wrong, he thinks prices in suburbia are going to go up. I think they're going to go up. He thinks they're going to go down. He thinks they're going to go down because of the coronavirus initiated recession and depression. Because in spite of those fake-ass unemployment numbers that got released, I mean, that shit's been a joke for a long time. If you stopped, in the olden days, it was if you stopped looking for work, then you were not considered unemployed anymore. Now it's like if you're laid off, and you could be laid off and not getting paid a dime, and you're not included in the unemployment numbers. Like that stuff's a bunch of horseshit. Fuck that. Uh, uh, if you are, Steve thinks that due to coronavirus, home prices are going to go down. I think that it may actually cause them to go up if businesses leave these cities, or people who work at those businesses who can now work from home leave these cities, and they go, well, I can get a nice house somewhere. That's going to, with a static supply and increased demand, that means prices go up. Again, I really hope I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, that means that I actually get to own a fucking home in my lifetime. Like, someone was going on about how I'm a piece of shit for shopping for houses and lowballing because of Corona. It's like, fuck that. Are you fucking kidding me? A 1,000 square foot house that's 100 years old, that's in total disrepair right now in New York City, goes for $1 million. That's a fucking ridiculous joke. For the last 20, 30 years, this housing market has been a ridiculous, stupid-ass bubble that needs to go away. That guy on the right kind of looks a little like Eugene. Reminded me of Eugene, maybe like Eugene's cousin or something. But anyway, this housing market has been a complete, ridiculous, utter fucking joke. It needs to come down. I'm not looking to take advantage and buy something for less than it's actually worth. Rather, I'm looking to now finally buy things for what they're actually worth. A lot less than what these nutbags were asking for. But I like the ability to actually buy a house in my lifetime, so I really do hope that I'm wrong there. But I'm not sure. But anyway, this idea that everything's going to go back to the way it was is absolutely insane. These businesses, they don't need to lose 50, 60, 80% of their business. These buildings don't need to lose 50 or 80% of their occupancy. All they need is for business to go down by about 10 or 15% for them to start being fucked. And I see that happening once reopening occurs. Lots of these places, are not really as needed as they need to be needed in order to pay their very inflated rents. And that's aside from all this, the rioting and the looting and all that shit. But my CPA was telling me that some of his clients were looking at moving, and this is before the rioting and looting thing, because now they know that, El Dulce has the ability to just say, you can't do business for 3 months, 2 or 3 months, but you're still expected to pay your landlord all their rent. Like, they're looking, they got an eye out for it, because they said, okay, we got through this one, but what about when it happens again? When there are businesses that before any of this looting, rioting stuff, had their eyes on getting out of here, because they know that they can be shut down in this manner. But now, after all that stuff, there's going to be more businesses that have their eye on getting out of here. Like, I know I have my eye on getting out of here more than I used to. It's because my place didn't get broken into. Just because my place didn't get broken into doesn't mean it wasn't damn near close to getting broken into. Doesn't mean that when every single place that I visited on my way up 6th Avenue on 26th, on my way to make that left turn onto my store, got broken into. It changes my mindset. Yeah. Lots of stuff is going to be changing. And one thing's for certain. These retail landlords that have lost their effing minds, they're going to have to come back to reality. You want $30,000 or $50,000 a month for a store that's marginally bigger than mine? You're going to have to come back to reality. These property tax assessors that are raping the landlords into the idea that these properties are worth way more than they actually are, the city government is going to have to come back to reality. A lot is going to be coming back down to reality, and it was always coming. Any of you who watch my real estate series and saw the ridiculous disrepair that these spaces were in and the ridiculous prices that were being asked, you knew whether it was landlords being greedy, the city government being greedy with the property tax and property tax assessments, whatever it was, this system, whatever cause it was or multitude of causes, this system things needed to change. The fact that you could show cockroach-infested clusterfucks, ask for $12,000 or $13,000 for them, not care at all, leave it in disrepair, and know that sadly the demand was there and that someone else was going to take it. You know that this shit needed to change. This is not a case of people taking advantage of a pandemic or taking advantage of rioting and looting. This is a case of change that's needed to come for a really long time, finally coming to fruition. That was an Arrow 6 bike to my left, Arrow 7 to my left. The tortoise of the e-bike family. Right turn signal. Left turn signal. And I kind of got spoiled by you for using Erica as my turn signals. You know, let's see if I make the light. I made it. Let's see if I make the next one. Kind of so. Whoa. Whoa. What the fuck was that? Holy shit. That was a close one. Let me go back and see what the fuck that was. Somebody else is gonna, with this shittier bike, is gonna slip on that. Wow. Someone left a fucking thing of sticky food right in the middle of the street. You fucking kidding me? That is bullshit. Check. Yeah. I actually come prepared for this. Check this out. I have gloves in my trunk. Here, let me show you what someone left right in the middle of the street. This is fucking bullshit. It's a thing of food, but it still has all the sauce on it, so it's all slippery, and I just ran over this and almost killed myself. You fucking pricks. But you see, like, when I say that New York is a shithole, like, when Erica and I were looking at houses in that other neighborhood, nothing was dirty. You didn't have all this litter and shit everywhere. Like, New York really is a shithole. There's just no other way to put it. Like, the prices, the fucking dirt everywhere, the way everything's, all these buildings in shit condition. You know? Oh, look at this. We got I was gonna try to find a trash can. I'll find another garbage pail somewhere. I really want to stop carrying around this thing of dirty food. Anyway. But see, this is probably why. There's no garbage pail in this block, you may have noticed. Oh, this fucking city. I'm trying to do the right thing and not litter. Where the fuck are the garbage pails? Come on, give me a garbage pail. Give me a garbage pail. Does anybody see a garbage pail? I don't see a garbage pail. I'm going through a red light. Hey, they can, I can too. Whose streets? My street. Bafang streets. Yo, there's still no garbage. This city is a fucking shithole. Where can I throw this out? I swear, I feel like throwing this thing right back on the street. I'm really gonna have to hold this thing until I get to the fucking store, aren't I? Yeah, there's no garbage in any of the corners anymore. There's no public trash. I feel like stopping by City Hall and throwing this in the building. Is that essential? Can I do that? This is gross. Really don't want to ride a bike with one hand. I don't know if you guys have noticed, we've been about 6 blocks. There's not a single place to throw away garbage. Not a single place to throw away litter. I see a garbage pile over there. I'll put it with their garbage. Oh, finally! Look at this. Whoa! This is so rare. Holy shit. Look at that. Ugh. My glove off. Yeah, so if any of you are curious why New York City is so dirty, that's why. There you go. The other nice thing about the Bafang versus a car is that if there's a protest, I can just U-turn around it. Whose streets? Bafang streets. Yeah, everybody's got the... Let's see, that guy's taking the wood off of his window. I'm keeping mine in for a while. I'm gonna take the wood down, and then the next ride, I'm gonna have to put it back up. What a waste. Keep that wood there for the next ride. No one broke Starbucks' windows? Or did they get it fixed? That doesn't make sense. It's really hard to understand what the hell this is about anymore. Because if we were segueing from racist cops into like economic inequality, small businesses being overtaken by giant evil corporations, and that narrative. Like I could understand that. I thought that was where we were going with this once Target got and Best Buy got fucked up. What I don't understand is Korean Barbecue and Grill got their windows broken and Starbucks did. That just seems it's not even that's aggravating. It's just the general inconsistency and it's like these riots lack a mission statement, for lack of a better way to put it. Like you loot the Starbucks and then you loot the small Korean restaurant. You don't just start off looting the small Korean restaurant. It makes no damn sense. Anyway, let's break into my store.